So to explain a little bit, first let me talk a little bit about texts, and then I'll talk about Chenrezi. We have two different texts. What we're going to use today, just for ease and to make it very straightforward for you, and in terms of our sharing it with you, Leslie's going to screen share an entirely English version of the Chenrezi text, which we'll do today, and we can make available to you after today. On Sundays, we're going to be using what's called a pecha text, in pecha form, meaning it's more like this, and you will be sent a copy of that text that you can print out. And so on Sundays, sometimes we'll be doing it in Tibetan, sometimes in English. But today we'll be using this 8.5 by 11 page that can be easily screen shared for you, and we'll be doing it in English. And one last thing about just the text itself. There's the full text, which is what we were doing. If you were participating in DTP on the last module and doing the Chenrezi text as a part of the Sunday class, we were doing the full text. But there's also an abridged version that's a little bit more manageable in terms of time. It's wonderful to do the full text if you have the time. And if that feels like too much, there's an abridged version. And so today I'm going to show you that abridged version. So you can do that if that's easiest for you to do on a regular basis, so you'll know how to do that. So let me first ask Leslie, is it possible to share an image of Chenrezi? I know I'm asking so much of Leslie today. Most of it is at the last minute, so she's in her true bodhisattva form here. So this is Chenrezi. I don't want to go too long into a teaching on yidams because I want to get to the practice. But Chenrezi is a yidam, and yidams are manifestations of a quality of awakened mind. So Chenrezi is the manifestation of compassion. He's compassion manifesting in a masculine form. And as you can see here, so he's white in color. His body is made of light. And as we do the visualization, I'm going to be walking you through his different aspects, but we're going to have the text up on the screen. So I just want to have you have a moment to look at his form, noticing that he has 4 arms. 2 are in a prayer mudra at his heart, holding a wish-fulfilling jewel. In his other pair of hands, he's holding a mala and a lotus, sitting in full Vajra posture. He has black hair. It's partially bound in a top knot, partially flowing down his shoulders and his back, and he's adorned with silks. He wears silks as his lower and upper garment. He's adorned with jewelry, earrings, necklaces, bangles at his wrists and elbows and ankles. You can see he's wearing what's called the crown of the 5 Buddha families, sitting on a lotus and a moon disc. So this is who we will be visualizing. So kind of seeing in your mind's eye, we're going to be visualizing him above the crown of our head in our mind's eye. And when his seed syllable is a hri, and that's what you should see there on the left side. To the left of Chenrezi is the seed syllable hri. He first arises as a hri and then changes into Chenrezi. And if that hri is too complex at this point to visualize, you can just visualize a white sphere of light. And just so you know, what is up above Chenrezi in the sky, those are the syllables of his mantra. And we'll be visualizing them in his heart center and in our heart center. So the Om is white. The Ma, thank you Leslie, is green. The Ni is yellow. The Pe or Pod is blue. Me is red. And then Hung is black or dark blue. Om Mani Padme Hum. So that is the image of Chenrezi we're going to be visualizing. And so now we'll move on to the text when you're ready, Leslie. So this text is about 4 pages in length. That's the full text, and I'm going to be showing you the abbreviated version, as I mentioned, which is about 2 pages total, a little less than 2 pages. So I'm going to walk you through this as a guided practice and to get you introduced if you're not familiar already. So the first thing we want to do is find a way, again, to sit that allows the spine to be straight, allows you to be alert yet relaxed. I'll ring the bell to start the practice, and we'll just sit for a moment in silence with our attention really for just about 3 breaths in the subnavel region, just to really gather our energy and concentration. So engaging in this practice, what we're doing is working to get in touch with and manifest that awakened compassion that is innate to who we are. It's just we do not always have access to it. And so this is a method to awaken that boundless compassion that is who you are. So when you're ready, you can raise your gaze so that you're looking slightly upwards into the space in front of you. And visualize in the sky in front of you. This is the Refuge Visualization. Visualize Chenrezi, who was just on the screen before. He's sitting on a fully blossomed lotus and moon disk. His white body is made of light. Sitting in Vajra posture. 2 hands in prayer position at his heart center holding a wish-fulfilling jewel. His second right hand holding a mala, and his second left hand holding a lotus. And he looks on all beings, including you, with great compassion. And recognize that he is the embodiment of all the Buddhas, all of the teachings of the Dharma, and all of the Bodhisattvas. And visualize that we are surrounded by all sentient beings, beginning with your father on your right and your mother on your left. Those who are close to you, and then extending all the way out to all beings. And we always begin a practice by taking refuge and generating the wish to awaken for the benefit of all beings, generating bodhicitta. So visualize all beings with their hands in prayer position and your hands actually in prayer position as we chant this refuge prayer 3 times. Until awakening, I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the noble Sangha. By the merit of my acts of generosity and the other awakening qualities, for the benefit of beings, may I attain enlightenment. Until awakening, I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the noble Sangha. By the merit of my acts of generosity and the other awakening qualities, for the benefit of beings, may I attain enlightenment. Until awakening, I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the noble Sangha. By the merit of my acts of generosity and the other awakening qualities, for the benefit of beings, may I attain enlightenment. And now you can visualize That light radiates out from Chenrezi's heart to all beings, including you. Feel that light from his heart completely suffuse your being. And that light completely resolves all obscurations and establishes you and all beings in happiness, true, genuine happiness. And then visualize that he dissolves into white light, and that white light just dissolves directly into you. You can visualize, in this case, it just moving straight into your heart. And in this way, our mind stream is blessed by Chenrezi, this masculine manifestation of compassion. And now, still surrounded by all sentient beings, imagine that above the crown of your head and above the head of every sentient being, a fully blossomed lotus instantly appears. It's made of light. So it appears like a rainbow. It's apparent, yet it's transparent. And on top of that instantly appears a flat disk of the moon, which is luminous. And this creates a seat, a throne. And above that lotus and moon disk, focusing on the space just above the moon disk, instantly a white Hri appears. Or alternatively, you can just visualize a white, tiny sphere of light. And this is the seed, the essence of Chenrezi, of his awakened mind, manifesting as this seed syllable. Visualize that light radiates from the Hri, again, purifying you and all sentient beings, purifying the phenomenal world. It also makes offerings to all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 3 times and 10 directions. And then the blessings of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas return as light to that Hri, or that tiny sphere of light. And when the light of the blessings of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas strike that seed, it instantly transforms into Chenrezi. So Chenrezi is now sitting on the lotus and moon disk above the crown of your head, white in color and made of light, adorned with silks as a lower garment and as an upper garment. His legs are in Vajra posture, and he has golden bangles around his ankles. His lower garment of 2 layers of silk is bound at his waist by a golden belt. He has 3 necklaces, short, medium, and long. And he has 4 arms. His first 2 are in prayer position, Anjali at his heart center, holding a wish-fulfilling jewel. His second right hand at the level of his right shoulder is holding a mala, and he's pulling the beads of the mala towards himself one at a time, liberating a being with every bead that he draws towards himself. And his second left hand is holding a lotus at his left ear, blossoming at his left ear. His arms are adorned with golden bangles at his wrists and elbows. He's wearing golden earrings. His black hair is partially bound in a top knot and partially flowing down his back. He's wearing a crown of the 5 Buddha families. And with his two eyes, he's looking at all beings, including you, with unbiased, boundless compassion, non-conceptual compassion. And above his top knot is Amitabha, Chenrezi's guru. Amitabha is a red Buddha. So visualizing this, we'll chant the text that starts above the crown of my head. Above the crown of my head and that of beings pervading space, on a white lotus and moon, Ahri becomes the supreme noble all-seeing one, brilliant white with a five-colored radiance, smiling and regarding with eyes of compassion. Of his four arms, the first pair are joined in prayer. The lower pair hold a crystal rosary and a white lotus. He is adorned with silks and jewels and wears an upper robe of antelope skin. He is crowned by Amitabha and is seated with both legs in Vajra posture, his back supported by an immaculate moon. He is the essence of the union of all refuges. And you can now visualize that at Chenrezi's forehead is a white Om. Or if you're not familiar with that syllable, you can just imagine a white sphere of light. At his throat is a red Ah, or a red sphere of light. At his heart center is a blue Hung, or a blue sphere of light. And what we're going to do now is invoke Chenrezi's presence from his Pure Land to merge with our visualization. So visualize that white, red, and blue light radiate out from those syllables or those tigles of light, making offerings to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 3 times and 10 directions, and also calling on Chenrezi to manifest and merge with our visualization. And in this case, the way this takes place is white, red, and blue light will return to those seed syllables, and with that light, white, red, and blue, comes with it Chenrezi's awakened body, awakened speech, and awakened mind. So white, red, and blue light radiate back from Chenrezi's Pure Land, dissolving into the Om, the Ah, and the Hung at Chenrezi's forehead, throat, and heart. And then visualize those 3 syllables dissolving into this visualization of Chenrezi. And with that, Chenrezi's awakened body, awakened speech, and awakened mind are present and manifesting in this visualization of Chenrezi above the crown of our head. And with devotion and respect to this embodiment of compassion, we'll chant this next passage. It starts, Lord of White Form. We'll chant this 3 times with hands in prayer position, with respect for him. Lord of white form, unclothed by fault, crowned by a perfect Buddha, regarding beings with eyes of compassion, to you, all-seeing one, I pay homage. Lord of white form, unclothed by fault, crowned by a perfect Buddha, regarding beings with eyes of compassion, to you, all-seeing one, I pay homage. Lord of white form, unclothed by fault, crowned by a perfect Buddha, regarding beings with eyes of compassion, to you, all-seeing one, I pay homage. And so now we're going to scroll forward. Leslie is scrolling forward for us in the text to the last page of the text, so we are doing this abridged version. So now, again, sitting with this visualization of Chenrezi above the crown of your head, visualize that in response to our prayer to him, that homage to him, five colored light radiates from him, suffusing your being and suffusing the body of every sentient being, completely purifying your mind stream of all obscurations and karma from beginningless time until now. And then Chenrezi dissolves into a sphere of white light. And that sphere of white light enters the crown of your head, your crown chakra, and begins to descend down your central channel. And when it arrives at your heart center, it begins to radiate out. And in an instant, it completely illuminates your body. And this body that we normally experience as flesh and blood and solid now arises as a body of light. And you arise as Chenrezi. You're sitting on a fully blossomed lotus and moon disc in Vajra posture. You're adorned with silks and jewels. Your hands, you have 4 arms. Your first 2 are in prayer mudra at your heart, holding a wish-fulfilling jewel. Your second right hand is holding a crystal mala at your right shoulder, and your second left hand is holding the stem of a white lotus that's blossoming at your left ear. Adorned with earrings, necklaces, bangles. You have black hair partially bound in a top knot and partially flowing down your back. Above your top knot is Amitabha, who is red in color, a red Buddha of the Padma family. And you are compassion. You are arising inseparable from Chenrezi's awakened body, speech, and mind. So you look on all beings with compassion. All of our surroundings are arising as Chenrezi's pure land. And all beings are arising as Chenrezi. And visualizing this, we'll chant this next portion that starts with praying with single focus in this way. Praying with single focus in this way, from the Noble One's form, light streams out, purifying impure karma, appearances, and deluded consciousness. The outer environment becomes the realm of delightful. The body, speech, and mind of beings, the inhabitants contained, the form, speech, and awareness of the mighty all-seeing one, that's Chenrezi, inseparable from form, sound, and awareness, emptiness. So now we're going to move into a recitation of the mantra. So you're arising as Chenrezi. In your heart center appears a tiny lotus and moon disc. And on top of that instantly appears a white Hri, or a white drop of light, sphere of light. And that sphere of light is surrounded by the syllables of Chenrezi's mantra. A white sphere of light, or a white Om, a green Ma, yellow Ni, blue Pod, red May, and a black or dark blue Hong. And again, you can just visualize these as spheres of light for now. And as we chant the mantra, we are connecting with Chenrezi's wisdom and compassion in the form of sound. So this sound begins to resonate in your heart center, the sound of the mantra, as light begins to radiate out from that heart visualization. And we'll visualize 5 colored light radiating forth from our heart to all beings. And carried on that light are Chenrezi's blessings. his compassion, and his wisdom, which we share and radiate to all beings. So if you have a mala, this is a good opportunity to engage the body in terms of body, speech, and mind in the practice. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. So you can now continue chanting the mantra, either using that melody or just in a flat tune or pitch like Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Fast or slow, whatever suits you. Visualizing yourself as Chenrezi, 5 colored light radiating out from your heart center, radiating out to every sentient being, bringing Chenrezi's blessing and showering them with his compassion and his wisdom. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Again, your arising is Chenrezi, compassion manifesting in this masculine form as you continue to chant the mantra. A white free or white sphere of light arising in your heart center, surrounded by Chenrezi's mantra. It radiates 5-colored light out to all beings, radiating Chenrezi's compassion and his wisdom. And as you're chanting the mantra, you're directly connecting with Chenrezi's wisdom and compassion, and in turn connecting with your own innate wisdom and compassion, awakening that, embodying that. the mantra to come into stillness. Taking a moment to experience yourself arising as Chenrezi in his pure land, where everything is made of light and is exquisite and pleasing, and delightful to all the senses. Surrounded by all sentient beings, a sea of Chenrezis. Feeling the impact of the mantra. And now we move into the dissolution. So imagine that light radiates out from your heart, touching all beings and this pure realm. And this pure realm of Chenrezi dissolves into light and dissolves into all beings that are arising as Chenrezi. And now visualize that all beings arising as Chenrezi, beginning with those furthest away and moving towards you, dissolve into light. So it's like this great wave of light. All beings dissolving into light, dissolving into you, or dissolving into Amitabha, who sits above the crown of your head. All dissolving into the red Buddha above the crown of your head. Until all that remains is you arising as Chenrezi, utterly brilliant, luminous, in a vast expanse of awareness. And now you begin to dissolve into light. So we first visualize that Amitabha, above the crown of your head, dissolves into light and dissolves into you through your crown chakra. And now visualize that you're the lotus beneath you, moving upwards, and from your top not moving downwards, you begin to dissolve into light. And this all dissolves into the visualization at your heart center. Until all that remains is that heart visualization of a lotus and moon disk, the white Hri, or the white sphere of light, surrounded by Chenrezi's mantra, or surrounded by little Tiglae spheres of light. And visualize that the lotus dissolves into the moon disk, and the moon disk dissolves into the syllables of the mantra, or the spheres of light surrounding the central Hri. And then the mantra, the spheres of light, dissolve into the white Hri in the center. And then that Hri begins to dissolve into light from the bottom, moving upwards, until just a tiny sphere of light remains. And so you are arising inseparably with Chenrezi's awakened mind as this sphere of light. And it gets smaller and smaller, and then it dissolves into this basic space of awareness. And so we rest our minds just for a moment in boundless awareness, openness. The mind's natural state. And then in an instant you re-arise as Chenrezi, white body made of light, compassion manifesting in form, adorned with silks and jewels. And all of our surroundings arise in their pure form as Chenrezi's pure land. All sentient beings arise as Chenrezi, manifesting their innate compassion. We then conclude this brief practice by chanting the text that follows the mantra, beginning with my own body's appearance. My own body's appearance and that of others is the form of the Noble One. Sound and speech is the melody of the 6 syllables. Thought and awareness is the vast expanse of panoramic awareness. And as we do with all practice, we share any benefit that's come from doing the practice with all beings by dedicating the merit. By this merit may I swiftly accomplish the mighty all-seeing one, and may beings without a single exception be established in that state. By the merit of performing meditation and recitation in this way, may I and all those beings connected to me, immediately upon discarding this impure body, be miraculously born and delightful, and immediately upon taking birth cross the 10 levels, and then dispatching emanations in the 10 directions accomplish the welfare of others. So that's an example of a very brief Chenrezi practice that you can do on a regular basis. And if you like, you can extend the practice by, once we dissolve the visualization and we are resting in openness, you can sit there as long as you'd like. It can be as quick as 1 breath, or it could be half an hour, 45 minutes, whatever you like. You can say as many mantras as you like. And so you can make this practice your own and tune into where you are in any given moment, how much time you have available. You can chant the entire text or do this abridged version. So we'll be doing this multiple times coming up a week from now, and so I'll explain with more detail as we go. But let me just very briefly, are there any questions about the practice at this point? Kimberly?
Yes, I have a question. Thank you. So when we're doing this practice and we're visualizing Chenrezig using the text, are we to make the visualization and then read the text just as you guided us, or can we flip it around and read the text like Chenrezig, above my crown, etc., and then visualize? Does it make a difference?
No, you can do it either way. Ultimately, what we end up doing is knowing the visualization well enough that we're visualizing it as we chant the text, and we're not leaving any space on either side. So just for the purposes of really having the opportunity to just have someone really guide you through the visualization so you can focus on that detail, I'm doing it in this way. And you can do it that way at home. You can do it before or after the text. And as you become more and more familiar, just actually do it with the text. We find over time it just spontaneously arises effortlessly. Okay. Yeah. Any other questions? This was for those of you who may not have done Yidam practice, this was kind of just tossing us into the water there, but more detail will unfold as we move through the Sunday series together. And just to say again, the point of doing this sort of practice is to recognize that compassion is innate in who we are, and we're waking it up. We are using the level of body, speech, and mind to do this. And So then when we move out of a practice, as we are now, the practice continues even though we're not sitting, and we move into what's called pure view. So as best as you can, you try to arise as Chenrezi, or whatever yidam that you're practicing, arise as, in this case, as Chenrezi as you move throughout your day. Recognize other beings as Chenrezi. It's kind of like recognizing someone else's Buddha nature and bowing to that. And recognizing our surroundings as Chenrezi's Pure Land. Recognizing all sound as the sound of his mantra, and all thought being the movement of awakened mind. And this way we come gradually a little bit closer into experience, the direct experience of what genuine reality actually is.